morning we had extra magic hours at Animal Kingdom from 8 to 9. My mom and my aunt weren't really feeling getting up and going that early, but I was like, girl, I am making all of the time I can to go to these parks. Like, this is what I came for. This is what I'm doing. So I got up and made it to Animal Kingdom. I mean, it's like so close to the lodge, which is great. I made it over there very, very quickly, and the crowds getting in were not bad. Oh, also it was Dapper Day that weekend. We did not get over to Magic Kingdom on the weekend, which I wish we had. Had I known that it was going to be Dapper Day, I would have probably scheduled things a little differently to get us to Magic Kingdom, because I think that that's where most everything kind of happens. But there were a couple dapper people in the parks that we went to over the weekend. But yeah, just walking into Animal Kingdom during the extra magic hours, it wasn't that bad. When I walked in, I went to Pandora. We did have a fast pass for Flight of Passage, so I didn't have to worry about that, which, like, everyone was running to Pandora. Or maybe not running, but, you know, booking it over there. I walked right onto the Navi River journey. There was 2 people in front of me and I did not have to wait. I just walked right onto that boat, and I'm glad that I didn't have to wait, and I'm glad that we didn't waste a fast pass on that, because it was fine. It was so anticlimactic. I will say that animatronic at the end is very impressive. It is less scary in person than it is in the videos. I mean, it was pretty, don't get me wrong, but it's just not something that I would ever probably go on again. So after I did that, I was just kind of wandering. I wanted to do the Maharaja Jungle Trek, but it wasn't opening until 9, so I just kind of wandered around Asia, and we already had fast passes for Expedition Everest, but the line was nothing, so I was like, well, I'll go anyway, it's fine, like, whatever. So I went, and I was glad that I did, because I wanted to scope out where the Yeti was so that I could show, like, make sure that my mom saw it when we went on, because my aunt does not do roller coasters, so I wanted to make sure to be like, Mom, watch for the Yeti. So I went. There was this poor girl that was getting on before us that was just bawling her eyes out and screaming that she was scared and she didn't want to go, and they were making her go anyway, and I felt so bad for her. My mom texted me at some point and said they were grabbing breakfast and then getting ready to head over. So by the time they did, they texted me. I think I was up in Asia still, so I went over to the Maharaja Jungle Trek once it opened at 9 o'clock, and there were no tigers out, but I did see the Komodo dragon. I did see the water buffalo and some various other animals that were hanging out. So then they ended up coming over and met me. We went on It's Tough to Be a Bug, which I love that little attraction so much. It's so much fun. And then we had fast passes for the safari. We saw tons of things on the safari. The giraffes were very close to us, which is fun. Gosh, what else? I mean, most everything was asleep, and, you know, the lions were sleeping. But we did get to see a decent amount, which was good. We did the Expedition Everest again with my mom. She had a blast doing it. She really enjoyed it. And then we stopped for lunch. And then after we were done with lunch, we went over to the, whatever the bird show thing is now, which is weird. I think it's weird to have characters involved in a bird show. The dialogue is just weird, and it's very strange. I mean, the birds are spectacular, don't get me wrong. I loved seeing the birds and everything, but having Russell and Doug in there is just a little odd. So, not sure about that one. So after the bird show, our Flight of Passage fast passes were ready. So we went over and, you know, bing bang boom, got our fast pass. These fast passes are fantastic, by the way. I just want to fast pass everything in my life. And so we got in line, went through the whole thing. My God. Again, I didn't even know that there were any videos of Flight of Passage, which even if my mom found one online, but like you can't get the full experience of it. But like I I was so blown away by this ride. There's no words that I can use to describe to you how this ride made me feel. Like, I wanted to cry the entire time because it was just so amazing. Like, the views and the realism of it is just spectacular. Like, you feel your banshee breathing in between your legs, and you feel like you're flying, and the smell and the wind in your hair, and you're getting sprayed with things, and like, obviously the stuff on the screen isn't necessarily happening to you when the giant whale thing jumps out of the water. Like, you're not going to get eaten by it for real, but like, you feel it. You feel everything. And going into that ride, we were walking on for the fast pass, and I think that the wait time was probably 150 or 180 minutes or whatever. And we were all like, God, there is not a chance that I would ever sit and wait in line for that ride for 3 hours. Like, there's no way. And once we got off that ride, I was like, so do you guys want to go like stand in line again and we can ride it again, or what's the play here? So then the entire rest of the trip, I was just like on the app, like, get me another fast pass, get me another fast pass. And the only times they came up for the day that we wanted to go were at night on our last day, so we couldn't get a fast pass for it, but that did not deter us, which we will get to. But yes, if you can take anything away from this entire video, it is that it is worth waiting in line for that ride. After that, we went and watched the Festival of the Lion King, which was fun. I love that show. I think it's so fun. I mean, it hasn't changed since the last time I saw it, but anything Lion King, I am up for. I love the Lion King so much, so I really enjoyed watching that show. And then after that, we were just kind of walking around a little bit. We definitely needed to to relax a little bit, so we went over to Flame Tree Barbecue and got the pulled pork French fries, I think, and they were they were delicious. Lupin is involved and everything. And then I just wanted to go and see what Pandora looked like at night. So we walked over to Pandora, and it was really, really pretty to see it at night. I mean, I've heard mixed reviews on it, but I personally liked it. We ended up going over to the Satuli Canteen to have that blueberry cheesecake thing, which was really delicious. And then by the time that we were done over there, it had gotten to be pretty dark. So it looked really, really cool to walk through there with all of the bioluminescent stuff and everything. It was quite a spectacle to see. But we unfortunately had to leave. Unfortunately, not really, but we did have to leave a little bit earlier than I think we probably would have, because we were going on the Starlight Safari at the Animal Kingdom Lodge. So I think we left Animal Kingdom around 8:30. But we did get to see a little bit of the Tree of Life Awakenings show. Not very much of it, but a little bit of it. It looks beautiful. Definitely next time we go back there, we'll be able to watch the entire thing. So when we got back to our room, we were getting ready to get changed. And guys, I was like looking out onto the savannah just to see what animals we could see out, and we could see illuminations from our room. What? Fireworks just like going off above the trees. Like, you couldn't hear anything. You couldn't hear any of the fireworks going off, but you could see them. And I was just like, this is amazing. This is so cool. What is this? What is this life? So that was exciting. So yes, we went on the Starlight Safari, which again is a safari ride that you get to take at the Animal Kingdom Lodge. It is a tour that you do have to pay for. I think it's $72, 70-something dollars. And it takes you through the 3 different savannas that are at the Animal Kingdom Lodge. So the Kidani Village has their own savanna, and then the Animal Kingdom Lodge has 2 separate savannas. So it takes you through the paths in there. It's like an off-road vehicle, so you can kind of go to the animals. And they give you night vision glasses, so as you're driving through, you can see the animals better. But I mean, my gosh, the animals were like feet away, like from us. The giraffes were very curious about us, so they would, you know, walk by or just like stop and stare at us for a little while. We got to learn about some animals that I had never heard of. I think my favorite ended up being the runes. They were brothers, and their names are Thor and Loki, so I loved them. But they are actually a really cool animal that I had never heard of before. And all of the animals that they do have on the savannas at the Animal Kingdom Lodge are all, you know, non-predatory animals to one another. The tour was from 10 o'clock until I think 11 or 11:30. And it was really interesting. That was something that my mom had found out about, and she was just super, super stoked about it. And I'm really glad that she found out about it because it was really cool. So then Sunday we started our day out at Hollywood Studios. We got there a little before 10 o'clock. I know we were there in time to see the March of the First Order happen at 10 o'clock. So we did get to see that, which was so cool. And then after that, we went over to Star Wars Launch Bay because the wait times to meet some of the people over there were not very long. So I got to meet Chewbacca, and I got to get a big Chewbacca hug, and it was so wonderful. I just loved it so much. He was so cool, and then he's like talking to me, and it was wonderful. And everybody over there was so nice and so lovely. And then you get over to meet Kylo Ren, and everyone over there, like, nobody smiles. And not that they're not like nice to you, but like they're just kind of cold and distant and just not really like warm and fuzzy like it is over at the Chewbacca meet and greet. And Kylo Ren, like, that is literally the oddest meet and greet. And I knew that it was going to be. I knew it was going to be just like this awkward, like, I don't really know what to do with you. I don't feel like you should have a meet and greet because you're not really a people person. And then I'm also like, is Matt the Radar Technician a canon? Can I talk to you about Matt the Radar Technician and your involvement on undercover jobs? Which I know I can't. But it was just so weird. And I'm like, I shouldn't be scared of you, but I kind of am because I don't really know what to expect from you. And I don't know how you're going to be. So if I can remember, you know, he's very like, he controls the line. So, you know, he comes and he takes the people that he wants to meet, and then he tells you to stay here. And so I stayed there. And so then he told me to come with him after he was done with the people in front of me. And I come and he tells me where to stand. And so I stand there. And he said something about joining them, the First Order. And I said yes. And he said, so you feel the pull of the dark side within you? And I said yes. And then he said something about not being able to deny it or whatever. And then I said yes. We posed for a picture. And then he told me to leave. And that is the story of me meeting Kylo Ren. It was so weird, but like I knew I wanted to do it just because I had heard that it's so weird. So I just wanted to experience the weirdness for myself, which I definitely did. It was very strange. We did that. We had Tower of Terror fast pass reservations, so we went over and did that, which was so much fun. God, I love that ride so much. And then we had Star Tours Star Tours fast passes. We ended up seeing the Jedi training thing with Kylo and Darth Vader, which was cool. And then the Star Tours adventure that we got on went to Hoth, I think. Yes, Hoth. Definitely went to Hoth. But there was like a rebel on board, and Darth Vader was trying to like force take our ship and stuff. So that was fun. Although I did have to become an honorary rebel, which was like, I'm sorry, I just told Kylo Ren that I was joining the dark side, and I don't think that I want to be that person that is like, no, sorry, Kylo, because he doesn't take that well. So we did that. Then we did the rock and roller coaster, which Oh my God, I forget about that. Like that takeoff was just like bananas. It was so fast. And then my aunt did want to see the Star Wars, whatever that weird show is during the day that is just like, here's some characters and they're going to walk out on stage and then they're going to walk back out. And it was just kind of a strange show, but it was fun. So we did that. And then we took the boat from Hollywood Studios to the Swan and Dolphin and then walked to the boardwalk, which is so nice. And we went to Ample Hills Creamery. Oh my God, it was so good. So good. If you've never been there, it is to die for. You have to go. I ended up getting the oatmeal lace ice cream and the butter pecan brittle ice cream. Well done, Ample Hills. Well done. We went to Disney Springs. I had told John that I would go to Disney Springs specifically to go to the Lego store because I wanted to see what their pick-a-brick wall looked like, see if they had any exclusive stuff going on there, which they didn't really. They had mugs that I had never seen before, so I got John a mug. I did some pick-a-brick stuff for him, and then we went to Emirates Patisserie, I think, and got dinner. So we just got like some sandwiches, which were good. But then the chaos began because we had fast passes for Fantasmic at 8:20 to 8:35. And Fantasmic is my favorite thing at Disney World, period. Like, I love that show so much. I found a directory with a cast member standing there, and so I was like, okay, where can we go for the quickest bus to get back to Hollywood Studios? And the Disney Springs buses do not take you from Disney Springs to a park. They only take you from Disney Springs to hotels. And I'm like, really? Why? So then I was like, okay, well, where is the closest place? Like, where can we pick up a minivan or like a Lyft or something? Happened to be like all the way at the opposite end of where we were. So I didn't want to call the Lyft until, you know, we actually got to where we needed to be. So I'm like huffing it down there, and then we went to the wrong place, and then we had to go to another place. So I'm huffing it. We get there, it's like, it's almost 8 o'clock at this point. It has to be. So I'm calling for a Lyft, and no driver is answering the call thing. So it ends up timing out. So I do it again, finally got somebody. They're like, I think they were at Hollywood Studios maybe. I could like follow their little van on the thing. And I'm just like, oh, we need to be there. And like freaking out, getting so stressed out. But our minivan got there. He got there a little early. By some grace of God, we hit like no stoplights except for the one to actually turn into the park. He was able to drop us off like right at the gate. And so we just booked it through. There was nobody in the line for security, nobody in line for going into the parks. We just like booked it all the way back to where Fantasmic was. We sat like on the complete like total end of the place. The show was as amazing as I remember it being. I love that show so much. Monday then was back to Magic Kingdom. So we did, we got there probably a little after 9 o'clock. We had fast passes for Enchanted Tales with Belle, which was adorable. And then after that, I saw a line over by the gift shop where Gaston's tavern is, like across from there where Gaston meets. And I was like, yes, Gaston is coming. So I ran over there and I got in line, and he came out, and my God, it was just, it's funny to just stand there and watch him meet people. We don't have one normal picture together, which is fine, but it was a good time meeting him. And then I got the LeFou's brew, which was quite yummy. So then after that, we walked over to Tomorrowland and rode on the People Mover. I don't think that we ever have ridden the People Mover before, so that was fun. And then after that, we had lunch reservations at Be Our Guest. So I was so excited about this, and I wasn't even really like, I didn't care much about the food aspect of it. I was just very excited that we were going to be going to Beast's Castle and eating in Be Our Guest. And so I didn't have very high hopes for the food. but I had decided to have the croque monsieur, and my mom got the quiche, and then we each got a cupcake. My aunt got the croque monsieur as well. And then just walking into the ballroom, like, it was just spectacular. It's so beautiful, and I wanted to eat in the West Wing so badly, but my goodness, the West Wing is tiny. It is so small. There's not a lot of tables in there, so we walked in and I was like, there's no tables. So we walked out and we found a table like in the corner in the ballroom, and it was just so beautiful, like spot on, perfect. And the food was surprisingly good. Our sandwiches were amazing, and my mom really liked her quiche. She got a salad with it, which was nice. I got French fries, sorry, pommes frites. And then I got the Master's cupcake, of course, and the gray stuff was quite delicious. I will say that I liked it better when I was eating it with the cupcake that it came on top of. I think that kind of made it be a little bit more flavorful. My aunt got the triple chocolate cupcake, I think, and then my mom got the lemon meringue cupcake. So, you know, we definitely experienced everything that we could within there, within Be Our Guest, and, you know, just walking around a little bit to see all the different rooms and stuff. So that was that. Oh, and then I got Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutiqued twice. I guess pixie dusted, and I was like covered in glitter, and it was fantastic. I don't know why I never knew about that, but it was literally the best thing ever. After Be Our Guest, we had fast passes for Pirates of the Caribbean, so we booked it to the other side of the park to get on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. Man alive, I haven't been there in 10 years, so I could be completely wrong on this, but I don't remember getting as wet on it before as we did this ride. Like, we sat in the front row, so going down the hill, we did get wet, and then those cannons were like raining, like the cannon fires when the water would blow up. Like, we were getting wet every single time one of those cannons went off, and I'm like, I don't remember getting wet like this before. Like, it was so crazy, but I do love Pirates of the Caribbean. I love that ride so much. I definitely did not, say it again, I haven't been there in 10 years, so I wasn't like super attached to the We Want the Redhead scene that they just recently redid, but having not been there for a while, I don't feel like it felt like it was out of place. It felt very seamless within the entire rest of the attraction, and I loved that attraction so much. My aunt hadn't been on that since they had updated it with all of the Johnny Depp stuff. I have several times. I went through a really, really big phase where I was obsessed with Pirates of the Caribbean, the movie, Johnny Depp, like all of it. Like, I had so much stuff. Like, every time we went down there, I was buying up all of the Pirates of the Caribbean that we could. I went down there 2 times when I was in high school, my junior year and my senior year. I went down there, so I got a ton of pirate stuff. So I knew that ride very, very well when I was down there when I was in high school. And after that, since my mom didn't get a chance to see Festival of Fantasy, we ended up going to Frontierland. We just caught it, the bridge over Splash Mountain. We just stood over there and watched it from the start. So then we went over and got on the monorail, which was wonderful. We took so many different modes of transportation. Took the monorail over to Epcot so that we could finish out the World Showcase. So once we got to Epcot, I think we just went straight back to the World Showcase. So we started on the Canadian side, and you know, I grew up in Buffalo, New York, which is pretty much on the border of Canada. My mom is from there as well, and my aunt still lives there now, so we know Canada quite well. We spent lots of time in Canada when I lived up there, but it was still a lovely, lovely place to visit. We weren't able to explore the entire pavilion. They closed off everything up above the little stores. There was an event going on, so we couldn't go up to that area, but we were able to go past the waterfall. We were able to watch O Canada, which was so much fun, and we were able to go through some of the gift shops. After that was the UK Pavilion. We went into a couple of the stores, but the place where we did the most damage was definitely the Twinings shop. Just had to buy a lot of tea, and the guy that gave us the tour on Friday, Rick, was there. He was working at the shop, so that was fun. We got to chat with him a little bit afterwards. So I had heard of the croque glacé, which is ice cream in a brioche bun. And I was like, yes, this is something I need to try. This sounds fantastic and I need it in my life. So we went there and I got it and it was amazing. So you get to pick your ice cream flavor and then your sauce. So I was kind of boring. I just stuck with vanilla and then I got raspberry sauce, and then they put it in this press that makes the bun warm, but it doesn't melt the ice cream. I mean, the ice cream starts to melt because the bun is warm, but oh my gosh, it's so good. If you go there, you have to go to their ice cream parlor. I can't remember what it's called. L'Artisan to something. And you need to try it because it's delicious. So we did that, and then we went to Japan, I guess, and then kind of walked around in there, and then wound up back in America. And then we were done with the World Showcase. So we ended up getting fast passes for Soarin', so we made our way back to Soarin'. Soarin' ended up kind of breaking down while we were on it. Not like up in the air on it, but like we were sitting there and it was getting ready to go, and it just, I don't know what happened. It wouldn't go up. So we were on Soarin' for a while, but not going to complain because we were sitting and it was comfortable. So then after that, we just headed back to the hotel because that was our last night in the parks. And my aunt was actually leaving before my mom and I were on Tuesday. So we all wanted to go back and just make sure that we had everything packed up because we did have breakfast reservations at 8:50 the next day, so we wouldn't have a lot of time in the room. So we went back. My mom ran down to the Mara, which is the quick service restaurant, and picked up a couple different things for us to snack on while we were sitting there packing. And we had the zebra cakes, which were so good. I don't even really know what they are, but they're delicious. And then we were up early the next day and we went down to Boma for breakfast. And like I said, it was pretty much a lot of the same stuff that we had up at the on the club level, but not mad at that by any means. So I ended up getting my very first Mickey waffles in my life, which was exciting. They had Mickey waffles and they had Simba waffles, so I had one of each. They had a really nice fruit salad. They had some very nice fresh fruit. I had their French toast bread pudding with some sort of caramel and pecan drizzle sauce on top. That was the bee's knees. Once again, I would pay the $30 for that breakfast buffet just for that. It was so good. And we went upstairs, we got our luggage, went downstairs, checked into our flights and checked in our luggage, walked down to the bus stop. We were staying. My mom and I didn't have to catch the Magical Express until 4:40, but my aunt had to catch it at 12:10, I think. So my mom and I were like, yeah, we're going over to Animal Kingdom because we want to ride Flight of Passage again. So my aunt walked us down to the bus stop, and that was, we said goodbye to her and headed over to Animal Kingdom. The wait for Flight of Passage was actually not terrible. It was only 2 hours and it went by really fast. And it was actually kind of cool to be able to actually walk through the real queue instead of the fast pass line because you really don't get to see a lot of stuff. The regular queue obviously has the big tank with the floating avatar in it. There's some fun like indoor things, the caves that you walk through, and then there's like a forest kind of thing that like takes you into a lab, and then it takes you up into the Flight of Passage, like the loading area. And then even just like the places that you get to walk around in outside in the queue, you get some really nice views of the mountains and the waterfalls and everything. So it's fun to go through that queue. it doesn't suck so bad to wait 2 hours. And we actually had a really nice lady in front of us who was there by herself. There are a lot of people around us that were, you know, first timers like I'm an old pro here because I've ridden it once before, but just like, oh, is it going to be worth it? Is it going to be worth it? And we're like, yes, I promise you, yes, it's going to be worth it. And they all had a really great time too. And then, yeah, after that, we just went back to the hotel and relaxed a little bit, and that was the end of our trip. That was our wonderful trip, and it was so fantastic. And I can't wait to go back. Alright guys, so that is everything that I have for you in this video. This was long, so thank you for sticking with me. I appreciate it. Definitely keep an eye out because I will be having a haul video coming very, very soon. I bought a decent amount of stuff from the parks that I wanted to show you guys what I got, so definitely keep an eye out for that. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel by hitting that subscribe button so that you can see my new videos pop up in your subscription feed. So until next time, thank you so much for hanging out with me for a little bit today, and I will talk to you soon. Bye guys.